Everybody, welcome to Breakfast All Day. I'm Matt. That's Christy. That's Alonso. It's time for El Camino, which is a Breaking Bad movie. It's on Netflix.
Yes.
And we watched it. Some of us watched Breaking Bad, the whole show.
We did the last season on What
Some
the
of
Flick.
us, I mean, by me, has watched the whole show. Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
You've seen the entire series?
I did. Well, here's what happened. We decided to do the last season on What the Flick, and so I watched all the previous seasons in like a month.
The previous 4 seasons.
Yes,
Okay.
and then we did the last season as it aired, and so I was caught up. But
You're caught up.
But you, bless your heart, trooper that you are.
I do my little experiments where I like to just drop in without knowing anything. So I appreciated the previously on.
So this is your new Downton Abbey.
So I will never probably go back and watch Breaking Bad at this point or Better Call Saul.
Okay. No,
Because, time
I
is
hear
a
you.
precious commodity. But if you also have never seen Breaking Bad, or if you haven't seen or thought about it in the 6 years since the show went off the air, there is like a 5-6 minute
A little bit,
recap
which I was grateful
beforehand.
for because I had not really, I haven't revisited it I've been watching Better Call Saul, but that show's a prequel.
There's like a Cliff Notes version.
So no, Better Call Saul takes
No.
place before Breaking Bad.
Right, but I'm
takes
saying
place.
there's like a little
yes,
Cliff Notes thing
exactly.
behind. This is not about my high school in Woodland Hills. I went to El Camino Real High School in Woodland Hills. It's about a car that Aaron Paul drives.
Yes.
Indeed. So this picks up basically right where Breaking Bad leaves off, where Jesse Pinkman has been liberated by Walter White in one last final flourish of violence and is getting the hell out of Dodge. He goes immediately to Badger and Skinny Pete, who help him, switch cars, put on a different outfit, hit the road. And this movie's, with a few flashbacks to the past, is basically about Jesse finding the late Robert Forster as the guy who can get him out of town and with a new identity. It is perfectly fine for what it is. My only thing in watching it was thinking like, I don't need this. Like Breaking Bad ended, and it ended at a perfectly fine point, and I didn't have any nagging unanswered questions about what was going to happen to Jesse Pinkman. They have now been answered, but I didn't have the question.
Do you need this more or less than a Maleficent or Zombieland sequel? in this scale of needing things you don't need.
This was among the 3 movies this week that we're talking about that we didn't need. This was the best one, clearly. I mean, there's nothing this movie does that's bad or wrong. I just question whether or not it needed to exist at all. In this, obviously, you can get into whether any movie or TV show needs to exist. But I'm saying within the narrative framework of Breaking Bad, like Better Call Saul very wisely goes backwards and sets up a character that we've gotten to know his earlier years and is all, it's all takes place prior to Breaking Bad. But I didn't need a postscript so much, but it's fine. They did a good job with that.
So why do you think Vince Gilligan, it's been 6 years, why did Vince Gilligan do this, do you think, Matt?
That's a good question. I can't help. Well, he could, and I wonder how much, is he, I mean, first of all, like it's I think it's a good capper, yes, the way Breaking Bad ends, you just assume that Jesse gets out. This one kind of shows you what he does.
Well, don't you see him driving away at the end of the show?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you know he's free.
Yes.
Right, but then
Right?
how free is he?
I
Right?
see,
Like,
I see.
this one shows us what happens in the next few days. And that was kind of nice to see. As somebody who'd watched the whole series, I had enough affection for Pinkman that it kind of worked. And,
As a Jesse Plemons fan, I certainly enjoyed all that stuff.
Right. Plemons is great in this. I will also say, I can't help but wonder, is this Vince Gilligan trying to help restart Aaron Paul's career a little bit? Because he was
Does it
poised.
need restarting?
Well, he was poised to do some big movies. And he's talked about how he got a new manager because one of his managers was, turned down some big comic book role that he was up for. That
The one who talked him into doing Need for Speed.
yeah,
perhaps?
maybe.
Hey, he's been a voice on BoJack Horseman, and he's been very good on that show.
Sure,
could just live
but
on
that's
that.
That's not movies.
I understand.
He's young. He's like, what, is he 40?
Well,
yeah, even though they refer to him as a teenager in this movie, it's like,
here, like, look, he's probably pulled enough money out of Breaking Bad. He doesn't really need the money so much as can he get some more roles in interesting pieces? And so I wonder if there's a little bit of that going into this. You do get to, it is nice to see him revisit this character and show you a little bit how that character has grown. Mm-hmm. You get a scene where, he talks about how, and I don't want to give too much away, but he talks about how he did graduate high school. He's not as dumb as everybody thinks. And then there's, we do get a lot with Jesse Plemons. And it's a bit of a throwback to one of the things that comes up fairly often in Breaking Bad, less so in Better Call Saul, but in Breaking Bad, there's a lot of, people will get killed or there's something that you realize, like the near incompetence of these criminals. Like, they're so right up at the edge of getting caught through their own incompetence. And so what Pinkman has to help Plemons' character do, and Plemons is just like, that character is such a dope.
It is so chilling because on the one hand, he is so like aggressively banal,
right?
Yeah.
But then also, because of that, is kind of a sociopath.
Right.
Like it's that tipping point between having no personality and having no moral compass. You know,
he reacts to nothing.
Yeah,
he reacts to things that people should be human and react to.
Exactly.
He is, but there's a category of things like, well, I can't let that happen. And so he'll kill somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and then it's like, want some soup? I have to say, just when I thought we had hit the point where there were no more 70s radio hits that could be repurposed for ironic purposes, I had forgotten about
England Dan and John Percole.
No. The Dr. Hook song. Sharing the Night Together.
Sharing the night.
The worst
together.
song. But nobody had because every dumb 70s song at some point has been milked for comedy, and no one had gotten to that one yet. So good job.
And we
Vince
get to hear
Gilligan.
him sing it too.
Yes, he does.
I was impressed. First of all, I got to mention that Ben wanted to be here as always, and Ben is also a Breaking Bad expert,
Yes,
as you guys are.
He did the recaps with us.
Right. So he
Did
wanted
you
to be
not do
here.
I think I had not done them.
Oh, heavens. Okay.
Anyway, here is Ben's little review. I really liked El Camino, and seeing it after Robert Forster's death was really moving.
Yes.
I mean, it was a double TV episode, but a great one. And I saw it at home on a TV, so yeah. So there you go. That's Ben. Ben enjoyed it. Having known nothing,
Yes,
going into it
tell
totally
us.
cold, you need to know things. I mean, I think it would. I feel like I did not benefit from this the way you guys probably did, with the emotional kind of connection to the material.
Yeah, this one I kept thinking, this is not one that you can just sort of waltz in.
You can't
on.
be a newbie and just drop it. No, you can't. But I appreciate it just from a cinematic perspective, Vince Gilligan's sense of pacing, because there are sequences and great stretches that are really intense and really suspenseful, and there's a lot on the line, and yet he'll just also take his time to set something up, and he will ask for your patience, and the patience pays off. And there are moments where, like when Jesse is skulking around Todd's apartment, and it's really quiet, and he uses the dark kind of rundown eeriness of that place to quite chilling effect. And so I was impressed by the mood he quite frequently establishes here. And the back and forth worked for me. The back and forth helped explain things to me, and provided some perspective as well. So, as somebody who has never seen it, I would recommend seeing the show. I mean, I liked it, but I'm sure I didn't get it the way you guys did.
And also, I will point out, like, while there was predominantly male characters on the show, there were some interesting women along the way. Walter White's wife, I thought, was an interesting character, even though some fans turned on her for no apparent reason. Is it her sister who's married to? Yeah, her sister. This woman who's involved in like the bigger drug trafficking thing, whose death is fleetingly referred to. You probably missed it, like on a news report. There really aren't any female characters of note here. We have a brief appearance by Tess Harper again as Jesse's mother. There is a flashback involving a character who was close to Jesse at one point, but that's kind of it. And that's not necessarily I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but that was not an avenue that anybody felt like pursuing in this movie.
Quick shout out to longtime character actor Larry Hankin, who was the tow truck driver.
Oh yeah.
Like he was
the truck driver in The Sure Thing.
Right. The dude's done a ton of stuff. He's in Billy Madison.
Yeah.
He's in Escape from Alcatraz. Always a treat to see him and stuff.
Yes.
I enjoy the internet. Go ahead.
And again, Robert Forster, like it was, when I saw it too, he had just died. It was like, wow.
Was he a big part of the series?
No,
he pops up last season, right?
Yeah,
because the whole function of his character is to sort of like allow people to disappear off the grid, and that doesn't really start happening until the end of the show.
And so that's why Jesse goes to see him, because
Exactly.
he wants to do that. I enjoy the comic interplay between Skinny Pete and Badger. That was kind of fun and sweet. But then Skinny Pete has a really sweet moment with Jesse too. That seems kind of uncharacteristic. I'm thinking to be that kind of earnest with him.
Those guys are like that. That's the thing. What's interesting about those characters is that and a lot of characters. This is one of the things that Gilligan does really well with that show is that he will introduce someone that you want to write off, and then
who might be just comic relief,
right? And Badger and Skinny Pete are, like they're real people. Like you don't get episodes about them, but when you get some of them, they're like it fleshes them out. Like they're not just one note characters,
not just stoners.
Yeah. And the same with with sort of the antagonists as well, like Gus Fring, who's not in this, but like over the course of the show and now some with Breaking Bad, like you get all of these layers to him that other shows are just like, nope, bad guy, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah, no, I appreciated the sort of cinematic scope of it, even though it's clearly, as Ben points out, meant to be watched on television. Although I guess, did it get a theatrical run briefly in LA?
It opened on a few screens, for whatever Netflix reasons behind that. But I imagine most people. And apparently it had huge view. I mean, again.
It came out a week ago.
We have to believe Netflix on this because there's no third party. But apparently like 65 million people watched it.
It's like inauguration crowd numbers.
Kind of, except,
we can't see them for our own two eyes. Yeah. I'm wondering where Jesse found the time to find that cozy cable knit sweater that he wears at the end. Where do you find the time to go shopping?
It's I don't know.
I want to know where the sweater comes from because it looks really nice on him.
Okay.
He's not seem like somebody who cares about his clothing. Right?
Well, he goes somewhere where it's chilly and you want to.
The sweater is very nice on him. Anyway, I'm saying 7.8.
I said 8.
Okay.
I said 8, I think, right?
You said 7.8. No, do you want to change that?
No, 7.8.
Okay. 7.9 is our number.
Okay.
93% on the tomato meter.
Yeah, it's, again, I would have been, I could have lived my life without it, but it was done very well since it is my life. So there you go. All right. Thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on the social media at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay, where we do TV recaps. And, we're currently close to wrapping up on Becoming a God in Central Florida and about to launch into Watchmen. So we're very excited about that. And we are doing an off the menu review that you guys, that our Patreon subscribers rather, voted on. They picked the 2004 Korean thriller Train to Busan that we'll be talking about as our scary October movie. So lots of good stuff over there. Patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. If you've already joined, thank you. And if you haven't, check it out and see if it works for you. What's coming up on a la carte, Christy?
Train to Busan came out in 2016.
Why did I say 2004?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
But it's good. It's really good. Tanya McRae is this week's a la carte interview. No relation to Bobby McRae, who was on a few weeks ago.
What about baseball player Hal McRae?
Also
Meredith?
Not related. She is currently a reporter at Spectrum, but she for a long time was a reality TV producer on many different kinds of shows that people were behaving badly on. And so she has fun stories to tell about working in television for a long time.
Cool. Right. And a la carte is exclusive to our audio subscribers, correct?
Right. Yeah. I tell folks they don't have to wear makeup. They can just come over and talk into my mic.
There you go. So you can find that on our
talking to your mic.
You can find that on our Facebook page, or you can subscribe to Breakfast All Day in your favorite podcatcher. And so that's it for this week. If you're a Patreon subscriber, we'll see you over on that page. And if not, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.